Hey, podcast fans, what's up? I'm Nicole, the Podcast Maniac, and I'm here today with a short little video to answer a question that I guess get asked all the time. That is, what is my favorite podcast? There's also this thing that goes around on the internet that is, what is your desert island podcast? Basically, if you were trapped on a desert island, nobody to talk to, what would you listen to day in and day out? My answer to both questions is The West Wing Weekly. So that is a show put out by Radiotopia, and it is a rewatch podcast. It is a podcast for rewatching The West Wing Weekly. It's a rewatch podcast. The West Wing TV show. So The West Wing aired on NBC in the late 90s and early 2000s. I watched it back then, and I've rewatched it again, all 7 seasons with my husband. It's free on Netflix. All the seasons are free on Netflix right now. And so I loved the show. And when I saw that there was a podcast hosted by a superfan and an actor from The West Wing, Joshua Malina. So he is the actor. He was on Sports Night. He was recently on Scandal, and he played Will on The West Wing. He co-hosts it with a friend of his who is also a West Wing and Aaron Sorkin superfan. Aaron Sorkin made The West Wing. So Rishi Hirway is the co-host of the show. He also makes the Song Exploder podcast. So the two of them are friends. They are funny. They are full of puns. They're full of opinions. They basically watch every West Wing episode. I want to say West Wing Weekly. They watch every West Wing episode, and then they do a podcast on that episode. So there are a lot of podcasts like that out there. They rewatch a series episode by episode. This is one of my favorites of all time. If you know the West Wing TV show, you either love it or hate it. There's no like thinking it's just okay. It's such a good TV show. So they're really funny. They'll critique the episode. They'll talk about the writing. They'll talk about their favorite scenes. They will discuss the issues. And what's fascinating is that some of these episodes aired like 15, 17 years ago, right? And the issues are still issues that the United States and the international community are dealing with today. So it's really, really fascinating to go back and see this and listen to it. It's a wonderful show. I actually saw the West Wing Weekly record a live podcast with creator and writer Aaron Sorkin in New York. I think it was January. No, I think it was April 2018. I wrote about it on the blog. Go to podcastmaniac.com and do a search for West Wing Weekly or live podcast or something like that. I wrote a whole review about it because it was my first live podcast at the time. The first time going to a theater and seeing my favorite podcast being recorded live with an amazing writer, creator, all the things, right? Aaron Sorkin. He's amazing. If you don't know who Aaron Sorkin is, I MBD him. Go watch all his stuff. Go watch Newsroom. Oh my gosh. I've got to find a Newsroom rewatch podcast. I bet that's out there. How do I not know about it? I am the Podcast Maniac. But it's my favorite show. Besides the two of them just chit-chatting about the episodes, they also interview writers and actors from the series. They interview pundits and other political figures. They interview people who know about the issues that are being discussed in the episode, whether or not they know about them from when the episode was written and aired or today. So it's interesting. It's educational. It's funny. I love it. It's ending soon. I'm really sad about that. It'll be ending in early 2020 because once you get done watching The West Wing, you can't do podcast episodes about episodes that don't exist. So I'm really sad about that, but it is my favorite. If you've never checked it out and if you've never watched The West Wing, then you have got an opportunity for some serious entertainment. Watch an episode, listen to a podcast episode. Wash, rinse, repeat. It's wonderful. It's my desert island podcast. So drop a comment and let me know what your favorite podcast is. What is the podcast you could listen to just over and over and over again that you listen to every episode? You would if you only had to ever pick one podcast to listen to for the rest of your life. What is that podcast? Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed mine, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.